I discovered Arisa White's poetry for the first time last summer under my feet at the coastal Maine Botanical Gardens. She had been commissioned to offer her words to be etched in stone, while a recording of her lyrics plays continuously, guiding the garden's visiting plant lovers to find a little peace. This is one poet who loves finding her way into uncharted territory. Please welcome Arisa White.
Good evening, everyone. I had never written an opera before, but by following my creative impulse and listening to my intuition, I heard a part of myself I hadn't heard. I know myself as parts, many of a whole, and each one is a different energetic expression of me, nuanced and with its own source of information and action. Let's do this, that part of me said. I knew these disparate parts, the poet, down low songwriter, weaver of dramatic narratives, and the fool, optimistic, full of joy, make-believe, and possibility. When they came together, driven to actualize an idea, something cracked open, and I was confronted with my own new emergence. The opera was adapted from a collection of poems called Postpartum, and those poems were a grief response to a poet who took the life of her child and then took her own. The why troubled me so deeply. There I was. I shared community with them right before it happened, and the why kept on haunting, and I gave the why a place of presence in my poems. I came to realize that this tragedy has been considered by cultures, societies, and people over time and reflected in their ideologies, mythology, rituals, and art. And when the poems didn't satisfy, because the poems could not vocally lament and give well wishes for such a passing, I needed the body for that. The page felt so solitary. Many poetic forms have root words that lead to words like song and sing, and in the ancient Greek tradition, poems were sung and or accompanied by an instrument, the lyre. Because of the times, these practices imply a live audience, a shared experience, and an offering to the collective. We can make an opera, that part of me said. In the 13 years of working on Postpartum, the opera, I learned that the etymology of opera is Latin, singular feminine, meaning work, labor, effort. The work I did was individual, collective, intellectual, and emotional. Through encounters with the archives, I learned about the lineage of Black American poets who have written libretti, had conversations with Caribbean and African diasporic artists, arborists, herbalists, and dramaturgs, which led to the opera being radically revised and becoming a love story between two queer activists using the power of their botanical names to heal their familial past and their community. With Postpartum, the opera, I met and worked with over 100 artists, engaged nearly 1,000 audience members, and in those years, opera became the individual and collective labor of bringing forth and giving volume to the feminine and feminized voices we don't hear. In the cultural den of plastique optimization and productivity that stares us away from the cracks, those points of difference that usher forth something that knows its aliveness when you've attuned your heart to the low-pitched voice that asks you to sing your life into it. And how do you sing your life into something? How do you listen to yourself? Do it not out of defiance or arrogance, but with curiosity. Here is a part of you saying, let's try it. And you can feel it in your bones. This idea needs you to be the vessel, which means you need to do the work to grow it into form, to learn the skills and behaviors to craft it, to stand up to your fears that have received so much of your attention and the attention of others, that the fear is loud, takes up space, and demands your full energy. When you give your attention and energy to fear, you manifest that fear. Redirect your attention and energy to imagine and dream, create, try new things, and when you step into that dream, embody it. And if you wonder if you belong there, know you are only an imposter when you have lost the sound of your own voice. You can do this, that part of me said. Whatever brings you to your quiet place where you are not overstimulated and stillness expands your perspective, go there often to learn how to listen for the different parts of who you are and who you want to become.